his hope is some of the youngsters that signed today will immediately be able to rush the passer.
Yeah, because yeah. All right, they got a safety JUCO guy coming in out of California. Really, he is 6 feet tall, 190, pretty good size for a safety. That's pretty good size. And played JUCO ball. A lot of these guys can really play football. They went to JUCO ball, but they have some grade problems.
I don't know what the deal is. And Clemson has sent, has placed them in military academy and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember the last junior college guy Clemson's had.
The other day I thought of his name. It's been a long time ago, and it was probably under Hatfield. I'm thinking, and then they made some kind of little rule about the junior college thing.
It just doesn't. If you recruit a junior college guy, he better be able to play immediately.
Right now. Okay, also they got another JUCO guy who is defensive end, 6'3", 230. And here's a JUCO guy who is an inside linebacker, 6'1", 225. He needs to put on a couple of pounds to play in the inside. As a linebacker in the Southeastern Conference. But that is what they have done. Over across the river, over there in Athens, guys, I believe that Rick this year is sort of going to be on a hot seat. I really do. I don't know if in danger, but it's going to warm up on him.
He's on the hot seat every year.
Well, but I'm talking about
until he wins it all, he's going to constantly be on the hot seat. I mean, they gave him a 2-year extension, so
yeah, a pretty hefty little price.
But as I tell Georgia people, that he's y'all's Hatfield. I mean, he's y'all's Bowden. He's going to win 9 or 10 a year. He's going to screw up 1 or 2 that he's supposed to win.
He has won that league though.
Bowden would win 7 or 8 a year, screw up 1 or 2 that he's supposed to win.
But hasn't Rick?
He's won the league. They got the championship game, remember? And they lost to Alabama, and Alabama went on and won the national championship. So they're always saying, well, if we'd won that game, we'd won a national championship. Yeah. But who knows?
They got a JUCO guy who's an offensive tackle out of Swanee. That's from Hines Community College. It's 6'6", 310, an offensive tackle. Now these guys probably can play ball. Their problem is they had some grade problems. Here's another JUCO guy.
Well, there's the University of Georgia. That won't be an issue.
Oh, now, friends, that Clemson grad said that. I didn't say that. Then there's a guy his name is Chucks Amaki or something. He's a linebacker, 230, 6'3", 230. That's another JUCO guy that they have brought in over there. That's so they've done some of that. Okay, that's about all we're going to say about recruiting, unless you have been dying to say something.
I've already said all I need to say.
You may have said more than you need to say. But it is
just the whole process has been speeded up.
And Clemson, by the way,
in the old days, they used to sit around the fax machine and sweat out 12 or 15 signatures. Now everything's done before signing day, and you're actually worried about commitments for next year.
Clemson got 2 commitments today. They got a wide receiver and somebody else today.
Which means you got to babysit them for a year.
That's exactly. You're on it now.
So.
And everybody says Feaster's going to commit tonight at 6 o'clock. Can you imagine having a ceremony? One of these guys today had a ceremony at his high school to commit to Clemson. Had a ceremony.
Silly.
And, man. All right.
It's just unbelievable.
Okay.
And what we need in this country is an early signing period for football.
That's coming.
It is coming.
It's coming.
Got to come. I mean, this financial statement they let them sign now, I think it's just the beginning of a movement toward an early signing day in football.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay, so now I know you're anxious to talk a little Brownell ball.
Well,
man,
we can talk whatever you want to talk
about.
Well,
I know, but right now they're kind of riding high, but they have a tough time when they get down to Tallahassee sometimes.
It would be nice to get one of these 2 this week. And then got Notre Dame coming in next Tuesday night.
Oh man, yeah.
In a fantasy world, get these two and come home and sweep Notre Dame, and you're on to something. You know, you would be 16-8 and have Virginia Tech coming in on Saturday. I mean, Virginia Tech gave Syracuse all they wanted last night, but I think we've pretty much discovered now that Syracuse isn't Syracuse. They're hanging on by a thread. They've got 7 losses. But
Boeheim, do you think Boeheim, who looked down at the ACC, do you think he's feeling a little better about the ACC?
I don't care what he thinks.
I know, but
I don't.
It's conversation.
I know, but I don't care what he thinks.
What's the matter with you?
There's some thought about that the newbies have made the league. Well, the newbies have taken their shots in the teeth this year, so Louisville's finding out it's a little bit tougher league, I think, than they thought.
Yes. And Pittsburgh's right.
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh beat Notre Dame over the weekend.
Well,
so
yeah, they did. Okay.
But anyway, I mean, it's still, I think, their RPIs in the 80, 82 range wherever you look. The biggest difference the last few games, the road win at State and the home win Saturday against BC was Jordan Roper getting into the starting lineup, and he has in both games made shots early and gotten them off to good starts, and he gives them a little more speed, takes some pressure off of Rod Hall, and so it's been a nice little combination. He's actually really helped, and I think he's scored 54 points in the last 3 games, so that's a pretty good output for a Clemson player. But the free throws tonight in Tallahassee, free throws need to go down. That was what beat them here. They lost by 4 up here earlier, and they were 16 of 31 from the free throw line. So,
off the top of your head, can you remember the Seminoles record right now? I don't remember it.
I can find it real
quick.
It's not very good.
No.
It's worse than Clemson's. They barely hung on and beat Miami Sunday night. It was 1 point, 55-54. Miami had more than enough chances to. Florida State's actually a 2.5 point favorite tonight.
I'm not surprised at home and all.
Florida State is 12-10 overall. I don't know what they are in the ACC.
Okay.
They are 10-3 at home.
It's tough.
Clemson is. This says Clemson's 2-3 on the road. I don't know if that's right or not. That seems like to be more than that.
I thought so too. I'd have to look it up.
But they. It'd be nice to get this one tonight. I think you've got a chance against Miami if you keep their guards from going off. It won't be the atmosphere that you've played in at Miami on Sunday night, so you got a chance, and then you get one day off, and boom, here comes Notre Dame, and they shoot the ball probably as good as anybody in the league. So that'll be a real challenge. But right now, they're hanging on, and I'm trying to figure how they can get to 18, 19, 20.
They're going to have 20, aren't they?
Oh yeah, at least, and that may not be enough. What's really killing them right now is the loss to Winthrop and the play in Florida A&M. Florida A&M has one of the worst RPIs in the country, and so even though they beat Florida A&M,
didn't count.
It really didn't help at all.
Now they probably. How many years have you said this? They probably need to win at least one in the tournament. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We said that for all our lives.
And again, even that might not be enough. I mean, you got to think right now. If I could have my wish, their only loss remaining would be at Duke in a couple of weeks on a Thursday night. I know that's not going to happen. They're going to drop. They've got Georgia Tech. They still have Georgia Tech twice.
Okay.
So that Georgia Tech's been hard luck, though. They've been in every game they've played.
Hope to get a split out of that.
So, and Clemson has pretty much owned that series recently. So you got a chance so you got Florida State, Miami, Notre Dame, and then you come home for Virginia Tech. I think they can get that one. Then they go to Georgia Tech on Monday, so another one-day turnaround. They've had a lot of one-day turnarounds. And then they get a few days off, and then they go to Durham on the 21st. And then Georgia Tech, and then they get a week off. They get this most significant downtime they've had this season, and Georgia Tech comes back to Clemson.
Yeah.
And then NC State comes in on Tuesday, and then a Saturday trip to Notre Dame, and that's it. It's done. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got 9 games remaining in the regular season.
And how many wins?
13
wins.
Like to be, if you get to 20, you got to win 7 of 9. So
that's rough.
That's tough. That's really tough. But you got Notre Dame on the road and Duke on the road. You got to figure that's 2 L's there. So you need these 2 this week if you can somehow find out. I don't think they're going to face a much rougher environment than they did last Wednesday night at NC State. I mean, they had a 21-point lead, and all of a sudden State goes nuts, and it's 3 points, and the place is up for grabs, and you're like, well, here's the season right here on the line. I mean, if you go ahead and blow it, then you blew a 21-point lead on the road, and you can see it circling the drain. But they showed a little grit, a lot of poise, and actually a lot of grit, and ended up with an 11-point win at a place that Clemson, well, they've done well at the Pig Palace, but traditionally in the Tobacco Road Triangle, it's been the Bermuda Triangle for Clemson basketball.
And that goes for the women, too.
But, one of the more interesting things that I've heard or read recently is that Brad Brownell, and this is pretty sad, but it's true, Brad Brownell is the only Clemson coach who has a winning record in the month of January.
Yeah, I read that somewhere, isn't it? That is unbelievable.
Only coach.
When you think of Bill Foster and Rick Barnes.
Ever coach at Clemson that has a winning.
And Cliff Ellis.
Has a winning record in the month of January. So that tells you right there. And I looked it up the other day, and going into this season, Clemson basketball overall was like 2 games under 500 for the history of the program. Now, of course, it's
up a little.
Three above 500, but
I think Georgia has that same situation.
Georgia's got an all-time losing record, I think. So
I'm going to tell you something right now.
What?
Guess. Name me a coach who has won 150 games at 4 colleges. Name me quick.
Cliff Ellis.
Yeah, I love Cliff. I don't know why people didn't seem to like. I love Cliff, and he. 150 wins.
He's such a used car salesman, though, Ken. That's
it's why great. That's why I love him.
That's why people didn't like him.
I know he is. He can sing, too, baby. But I love Cliff. And among the reasons, I've said this before in this little program, one of the reasons I like Cliff is, first, I managed some real estate for him, made a little money. And Cliff used to I was
going to say emphasis on little.
Yeah.
You probably made more off of Cliff than you'd made off of Danny Ford.
Well, I had both of them.
Which means you made nothing.
I made almost nothing. I got a Danny Ford story I'll tell you one of these days about some expenses I billed him for and something.
I bet that went over
well. Oh, man. It was unbelievable what happened. I really feared for my safety. And it's a long. I won't get into it now, but I'll try to sometime. And another thing about Cliff, of course, had 2 boxes at the football game.
Right.
And he invited my friend Roy Jeffcoat and I at least twice a year to the boxes.
Right.
And he's the only guy that did that.
Right.